Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and welcome back to the Guiding Stars podcast, where we discuss the struggles, the beauty, and everything in between when it comes to mothers and their maternal mental health journey. Our guest today is Arpita, who is a mother of twins and would have a lot to tell us about her own journey of motherhood and how did she get to where she is today. Arpita, thank you very, very much for joining us today. And if you can tell us more about who Arpita is, and we'll take it from there.
Thank you so much, Farah, for that introduction. And it's my absolute pleasure to be here with you today. So, my name is Arpita, and I am a holistic therapist and a wellness consultant at Illuminations JLT in Dubai. And yeah, to talk more about me, I always say that this is my second innings of my career. My first innings has been with the corporate world. So I studied economics. I'm an MBA and I worked in the corporate sector for more than 15 years. And honestly, very happily, like I have been blessed with good workplaces. So I don't have any sob stories or any major reason why I changed. Why I changed is because I guess life happened to me.
Hmm.
And when I say life happened to me, I was pregnant. I'm mother of twins. So that is there are other reasons as well, but the most defining reason why I made this career change is because of my children. When I was pregnant, I was still working in the corporate sector. And as I said, I had a very supportive work environment. And I thought I had it all under my control. You know, you plan it. Yeah, there are two babies arriving and you have to do all the checklists. Trust me, I had all the checklists ready. But when they arrived, the whole situation threw me completely out of gear. And as much as I loved being a mother, but at the same time, that 1, 2, 3 years in the beginning was extremely overwhelming.
Hmm.
And that's when I started to look at options to, how do I deal with this? Because till now, you know how to deal with life. You study, you get married, you have a job. Life is all the check boxes were ticked. This checkbox I ticked, but I didn't know what to do after that. Nobody told me, nobody gave me a manual and said you have to do certain things.
Hmm.
That became my beginning for my own quest for wellness. If I can be brutally honest, I never planned this move. So I never thought to myself, one day I'll be a therapist or one day I'll be a facilitator. It's my own journey because I have a boy and a girl.
Hmm.
And my daughter happened when she was like around 18 months old. I realized that she had a severe motion sickness, like in the cars. She couldn't get into the cars. So I
Ah,
spent time when my son was in play school and my daughter was home. And those 3 months, I think it pushed me up the wall. The fun part is that I personally suffered from motion sickness throughout my life, not understanding why, and medication helped for a bit of time. But when this happened to my daughter, this, I think, mother's guilt threw me off gear, and I did everything. And in that journey, I got introduced to holistic healing. I got introduced to energy healing, all kind of alternative therapy.
hmm.
I went in very open. And when I worked on myself with an open mind, and my daughter healed on her own, and that opened the door to my entry. I took a U-turn, I came back, and I said, I need to learn this because if this could change my life, I want to learn more.
Okay,
So
let's
that's
just pause there.
yes, sure, sure.
So, through your own journey of healing,
Yes.
so I'll get into details because what you said is just okay. So, how old are your kids now?
Mine are 7, almost touching 8. They'll turn
Eh,
8 in January.
All
Yes.
right, and so your journey basically started when you noticed that um, you were going through a lot and you wanted to heal a part of you. And as you
Yes.
went through that healing, your daughter healed.
Yes. So it was, I always wanted to work on it, but my major drive was my children at that time. Like,
Hmm.
what is in me that has got transferred to my daughter is what I wanted to sort out.
But how
And
did you come to that um, hypothesis, is it, if I may?
Yeah, because that time it was so overwhelming, and I guess we'll talk more about that. That
Mm.
first year, I was working and I was in a job I really loved, but it came to a point when I said, you know what, a time out. So I took a year's break. I took a sabbatical for a
Mm.
year, and I told myself I'm just going to, balance myself back. So that 1 year was looking for a lot of things, one of which became wellness. So I traveled solo.
Okay.
I did volunteering work. I started to paint. So I kind of, eat, pray, love kind of a situation.
Yeah.
I tried to do that to find my gear back. And wellness was one of it. So I was very intrigued with hypnotherapy in the beginning because I
Hmm.
read books of Brian Weiss and I'm like, okay, this makes sense to me. And can I try this for myself? And though I went for myself, it impacted my children, and to an extent, it impacted my entire family. So
Oh,
that got
wow.
me into healing. So it took me some time because I said I loved my job. It wasn't easy to quit my corporate job, but
Yeah.
it took me a while to transition. And I studied clinical hypnotherapy. I studied transpersonal regression therapy, family constellations. When you start with one, you don't end. So there's one after the
True.
other, and then that's where I am today. And I'm
So,
with you as that.
and thank you for being here. I think we're blessed to have this opportunity. Can you tell us more about holistic healing? And for for those who either don't know about it or never heard of it or are curious but are hesitant, what is holistic healing?
And see, holistic, the word whole actually comes from a Greek word which means to be complete, to be total, whole.
Hmm.
Now, in this line of work, we just don't look at anyone as just a person with a body. We say, like, we have a body, but each of us have something more than just a physical body.
Hmm.
And unless we consider those elements in us that is just not our physical body, we are not completely looking at a person. So let me give you an example. Say I'm at home and I want to go to work. So I go down my home, I go to my garage, now my car is there. So I
Hmm.
need the car to go from point A to point B.
Yeah.
Now, the body of the car, including the engine, is like my physical body, which is tangible, right? If
Mm.
something goes wrong with my physical body, I'll go to a doctor.
Yeah.
If something goes wrong with my engine in my car, I will go to a garage.
Hmm.
Now, just having the body is not complete for the car. Car is not going to move anywhere. We need petrol, right? We need the
Yeah.
fuel. Now, from the outside, can you see the fuel? We can't.
Mm.
The fuel is like the energy. Now, the energy, you can call it prana, you can call it chi, or simply call it life force. Whatever keeps you and me alive vis a vis the computer in front of us, which is not alive.
Yeah.
But having the body and having the energy still not makes me go from my home to my work because I need a driver. Somebody
Yeah.
needs to drive that car. And the driver of the car is like the mind. So we are comprised of three things. We are comprised of a body, we are comprised of energy, and we are comprised of a mind. And when in this line of work, we consider all of these three elements working in tandem. Now I have my car full of petrol, my car is in good condition, my mind takes me somewhere else, my direction in life goes in a different direction. So when we look at someone, or we are talking about mothers probably today, that we just don't look at them as one individual. There are these elements, and when we focus on the mind, body, and energy, that's when we say we are into holistic healing, just not through the body.
Okay. I love how you put it because it's true where it's a car is a car, but a car needs more than just the body of the car to to operate or function. Um, what are some of the things that people can expect if or experience if they were to go into holistic healing? If they want to go, like what falls under holistic healing?
Healing, yes. Okay, let me give you another example, something like what I said, maybe that will make more sense. So, when you say we are talking about this whole mind body energy, let me give you another perspective so our listeners can also understand what they can expect.
Yes.
As I said, physical body is just one component. In holistic sciences, we believe that we actually exist in four different bodies. One is the physical body, which is very tangible and very easy for me and you to, understand it because body has pain, pleasure. We know it hurts or it's not. It doesn't hurt today. Now, the other three bodies is what we look into more details, and we see the
Mhm.
connection between these bodies and our physical body. You would agree that anything in this world starts with a thought, right? You
Mhm.
have had a thought about guiding stars. It was created in your mind first. Then
Yeah.
you have today you have a platform that you've created. So Thomas Alva Edison thought of a light bulb, and today we have so many light bulbs.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is everything in the world begins with a thought. So the first body that we are talking about, the intangible body, is the body of thought, what we also call as the causal body. Now, keep
Mhm.
the jargons aside. How do you know you have a thought body? If I
Yeah.
tell you, Farah, just close your eyes for 5 seconds and you know what clothes you're wearing, what color of
Mm.
clothes you're wearing today, and imagine wearing the same set of clothes. Now, you're not sitting in your office, you're actually on top of Mount Everest. We can easily do this. It'll
Yeah.
just take 2 seconds. Why? Because you know what you're wearing and you know what Mount Everest looks like a lot of snow around us.
Yeah.
But you are still on your seat. Now, what did you do? What you did is you just connected to your thought body. We
Ah.
think anywhere between 60 to 80,000 thoughts in a day, which is, I must say, much higher for new mothers. And 80% of those thoughts are repetitive. So I think still now, with all my work and knowledge, I will still think every day what to put in my kids' tiffin box that they will eat in school and come back so that I feel good about being a mother. So
Yeah.
this is the nature of the thought body. Now, what happens when you have a thought? When you have a thought, like if I am with you here right now, but suddenly I have a thought of my cute little puppy at home, I have an image of my puppy in my mind automatically, and I'll have a smile on my face,
Mm.
which means a thought that that generates immediately an emotion. Now, if I think suddenly of a missed deadline, my emotion will be completely different now. Like, oh,
Yeah.
so the second body is comes from the thought. So a thought creates emotions.
You're right.
Now, thought is not negative or positive. Thought is potent energy. A thought is just a thought. Now, how I feel about it is up to me. And the same thought can create different reactions in different people. If you break the word emotion, what I'm getting to is emotion is energy in motion. So now thought is creating an impact in my space. I either
Yeah.
feel very good or I feel not good. Example of emotion body, what we call as astral body, especially because we are talking of moms. When we working moms, when we have delivered a baby and after our maternity break, we go back to work.
Mhm.
There are cases you will hear that baby cries at home for milk and mother lactates at the workplace.
Yeah.
Why does this happen and how can this happen? This is so bizarre, right? Mother is not even thinking of baby mom's working, but the lactation starts, body starts to react. This is because the emotion body of the child and the emotion body of the mother is still connected. And it is always, it's the closest relationship we can have on earth. So this
Wow.
explains why this kind of phenomena we say, oh, this is amazing. It's not, it's amazing, but it's very logical as well. And now when we feel an emotion, we are now coming to the third part of our bodies, the third body, what we call as energy body.
Mhm.
Now, energy body, we are now coming closer to our physical body. Are you aware of aura or chakras? Have you heard
Mhm.
these words? So, aura is what? Aura is just the electromagnetic field around us. It is nothing hunky dory. Each living creature has an aura. You can also feel your aura, and nowadays you can actually go and photograph your aura. So, it's the field, the electromagnetic field around us in which we are.
Mhm.
Now, there are certain points in our bodies that we call as chakras. I'm taking a very like a broad view of it. I'm just going to talk of the seven major chakras.
Please. Yeah.
The word chakra comes from the word, it's a Sanskrit word, which means a wheel. So imagine we spoke about the life force flowing through
Mhm.
us, which keeps us alive vis-a-vis my computer. That life force flows, imagine through a channel, and this channel has this turbine.
Mhm.
Those are the chakras. They are the energy centers of our body.
All right.
Seven chakras. So we start with the root, then we have the sacral, we have the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown. Why I'm again saying this is because now, if you superimpose the human anatomy on the position of the chakras, you will see we are superimposing the chakra system on the endocrine system. And that's probably we'll talk about for pregnancy and hormones now, what we
Yeah.
are talking. So when there is an issue with the root chakra, it is the adrenalines that go for a toss. If there's an issue with the throat chakra, then thyroid gland is not functioning. If there's an issue with the crown chakra, it's my pituitary gland which is not functioning. If my sacral chakra is blocked, then I have polycystic ovaries or fertility issues.
Wow.
This is the connection. So when a thought generates an emotion that is positive, our energies flow automatically. And then our endocrine system metabolizes it well. The hormones in our body are secreted in the right amount, which brings us to the last and the fourth body, which is your physical body. So imagine if things are flowing well, body is in ease.
Yeah.
When a thought creates an emotion that is negative, which impacts our energy body, which means our hormonal imbalance starts, that is when we say in the body we have a disease. If you split the word, this is. So in holistic sciences, we are talking at all the four bodies because they are
Yeah.
interconnected. And what I explained to you in a broken down way, these impulses go inside these bodies in like fraction of seconds.
Wow.
And hence, for anybody to expect, you can expect any kind of physical, mental, spiritual, emotional issues that can be worked upon in holistic
That's
sciences.
beautiful. That's beautiful. So I'm quite receptive to this because I'm on my own journey of holistic healing, but it took a lot from me. I'm not gonna deny it to actually take that step
Mm.
because unlike traditional medicine or traditional healing, it's um, it's not tangible,
Yes,
and it goes a lot with from within. I need to um, be willing to explore it. I need to be willing to believe it. And for people who might struggle with that, is there anything that they can or that 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 you can share that will kind of put their minds at ease with the concept of holistic healing?
yes, yes. If you look at it historically, this has been with us in every culture. If you look at the Babylonian civilization, if you look at Egyptian culture, if you look at Chinese medicine, if you even look at the father of modern medicine, Hippocrates, he talks about
Mm.
psychosomatic diseases. So the body is good, but I still have certain things. If you talk of yoga from India, if you talk of Wang Chai in Chinese medicine, how does acupuncture work? It's the same thing. It is just that if you ask me, this science should be, in my personal view, should be taught in school because then our conditioning becomes in a way that we are able to accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I struggled as well because I come from, as I said, completely different background, and I think the thing that we need to look into or the openness comes when you know that in these sciences, it's a myth that you lose control. Say, for example, if I'm working on my thoughts and my emotion and I'm going to use hypnotherapy is not how they show in movies that I click my finger and somebody, falls off. That's the fear. That's the myth. Because as a client, then I'm very worried. Should I go? What's going to
Mm.
happen to me? Or in energy healing for that matter, when I'm working with crystals or when I'm working, say, Reiki or any other energy healing, what is going to happen? I think the way to go about is to meet people like I did. I'm going to share my journey. I actually met therapists. I
Mm.
met people till I figured out that, okay, this person I really trust, this person has the credibility, and I can take that risk.
Yeah.
That's the lack of the fear of loss of control is the biggest fear for holistic healing. And the other thing is, you don't have to be special to do this. You don't have to have any superhuman powers to either be a therapist or be a client. You just have to have that urgency. Why for my personal journey, I had that urgency. I just couldn't deal with what was happening. I'm like, I need a
Mm.
solution. So it really doesn't matter where it comes from. And it is not that you have to have a problem to experience this. This is another skewed approach, that, oh, if I have a problem, then I'll go. Till
Yeah.
then, it's a mumbo jumbo word and I stay away from it. But this is a kind of living, this is a living it's a lifestyle. This is no longer mental health and healing is, especially 2020 after the entire pandemic
Yeah.
situation. It's no longer a choice of some privileged people that I will have it. We all need it. I think education needs to be there, the word needs to be spread
Yeah.
out, and the science behind it. What I bought in was the science of it. When somebody says that your endocrine system and your metabolism and your hormonal imbalance is linked to the chakras and aura, it's easy for me to grasp it rather
Yeah.
than somebody just saying that you have an energy body around you and I can't see anything.
Yeah. True.
So it's understanding the science, it's having that need, it's a curiosity, and end of the day, there will be urgency to back it all. That's the recipe when this will work. For your listeners, I would say be open to explore. That's the reason, we at Illuminations, we always do a free consultation. We never book clients like come and do a session.
Yeah.
So if you're my client, I will spend that time explaining what I'm explaining to you. And if this resonates or makes sense to you, it's only then you go ahead. So I did that. I
That's
did a lot
beautiful.
of window shopping. So yeah, I think you should do it to be comfortable to know this is your line of work.
Very nice. Very nice. And bringing it back to mothers, whether they've already delivered or they're pregnant or they're even
Favorite
attempting
topic. Yes.
or they're attempting to get pregnant.
Okay. Yes.
Um, have you noticed any, or is there anything that, especially those who might be struggling to get pregnant or having a hard time during pregnancy, postpartum depression, how does holistic healing come into play to kind of ease that?
Yeah, three very different phases. I'll go one by one. So when you are trying to conceive, for example, and mostly, the people I've worked with, I've seen there's nothing wrong. Like physically, there are no fertility issues medically, and
Hmm.
yet it's like I cannot conceive or it just doesn't happen. So that means there is now, see, where we are getting into the domain of the mind.
Hmm.
um, when I say mind, I'm not talking of the brain. So we are not talking about neuroscience today. We're talking of the science of the mind, which is the intangible asset with which we are living our life. Mind has two parts, the conscious and the subconscious. So consciously, there is nothing wrong, right? I've done my tests, I'm struggling, but it just doesn't happen. This
Hmm.
means that all, it's just not fertility issues or anything to do with mothers. You can generalize this to any issue in your life where all those illogical things that you don't have an answer to, you will find the answer in the subconscious part of your mind. The logical answers are hidden there. So many a times we carry unconscious blocks, patterns that are embedded in your unconscious, in our subconscious. So imagine this to be an iceberg.
Hmm.
Only 10% of the iceberg is up above the sea level, right? The rest we cannot see.
Yeah.
So there are programs, there are, yeah, literally programs, because the mind is like a software. So imagine there is something coded in that software, the software is just running it.
Hmm.
There could be many instances of any belief system that we carry, or we could carry even programs from our ancestors that collide with our personal desires. The strength of the conscious mind is only roughly around, say, 10%. And the spaces of the subconscious mind is 90. The strength of conscious mind, if it is 1x, the strength of subconscious mind is 6,000 times x. So
Wow.
1x part is saying, I want to conceive and have a baby. I'm totally unaware, I'm in the dark, that there's a bigger part of my mind which controls my body through what I explained, the four levels,
Yeah.
is saying, no, you're not going to do that because of XYZ. And this because it could be anything. It could be a loyalty to a family member. It could be a block. It could be a belief system. What's so funny to note that the programming of the mind happens in the first 8 years of our life. So imagine the software with being programmed in the age between 0 and 8,
Wow.
and then we just run that program for the rest of our life unless we stumble upon holistic healing and hypnotherapy and energy healing, and we change those blocks, those belief systems, to be able to manifest what we want. So with fertility issues, I've seen a lot of times there are unconscious blocks.
Really? And so through holistic healing, people who were once, for example, told that they're unable to get pregnant or have babies, through that journey, once they've done the healing, the unblocking, and all of that, their medical results have changed where they are able to.
Yes, yes,
Whoa.
absolutely. It is just not fertility, it can be any physical issue. See, I want to make a point here that holistic healing is not a competition or an alternate to medical science.
Hmm.
So it's not that don't go to doctors and go to holistic healers. No, it is complementary. So many a times when somebody is going through a fertility treatment, they also come to work with a therapist to see if there is anything which is unconsciously, blocking the efficacy of the treatment. So for example, when I'm working with a cancer patient, the cancer patient is going through chemo because he or she needs to.
Yeah.
But we work on the side so that the efficacy of the chemo or the side effects of the chemo don't happen. So it goes glove in hand. It is not
Yeah.
one or the
Or they
other.
are
And you do see results.
beautiful.
Absolutely. To the extent nowadays, I work with a lot of women who, from that part, who are not pregnant, they fall pregnant, and then they continue through their pregnancy because they want to continue the journey.
Yeah.
There are kinds of work now like hypnobirthing, so you can even choose to have a hypnobirthing instead of using chemical anesthesia.
Yeah.
Uh, and from my experience, I've seen the mothers who have gone through this journey. The children are so peaceful because the
Wow.
mother is peaceful. See what
Yeah.
happens when a mother is carrying a baby. Baby doesn't understand anything except the mother's feelings. So when we are in our mother's womb, we are only experiencing life through the mother. So if mother has anxiety, baby also feels anxious. But if mother is peaceful and mother is going through a very deep healing process, baby automatically becomes very, very peaceful. Childbirth becomes easy. I have had clients, who had even complications, but their recovery has been much better.
Oh,
So it's
wow.
a journey from conception going into being now if I come to the part when we're talking of pregnancy, see pregnancy, what's happening now, think of what I told you about the energy body. It's the
Mhm.
hormone. In pregnancy our hormones shoot through the roof, right? We have the HCG, we have the HCl, we have estrogen, progesterone. So imagine what's happening inside your body.
Mm.
And then it is not, that is the reason there is irritability, because we are not, the balance is lost, your body is in balance and suddenly it's gone out of proportion.
Yeah.
So a lot of time holistic healing, energy healing is just channelizing, grounding and calming that energy. And then you come to the last part of postpartum, when you deliver. So what happens when you deliver? When you deliver, your endorphins are really high because it's a big thing, you've delivered a baby, but all your hormones take a complete nosedive in the next
Mm.
3 to 4 days. So from there up there, you have a fall.
Yeah.
Oxytocin plays a part. Like if oxytocin is sufficiently secreted, then okay, we are able to bond with our babies and prolactin is there. But you have to also bear in mind at this time we have sleepless nights. All mothers, whether
True.
we are talking of mothers of multiples or even single sons, we don't have that amount of sleep, which means our bodies start to produce cortisol, stress hormone. And
Ah.
this is when you have what you call your postpartum blues, your
Mm.
depression, because suddenly you have just kind of thought that pregnancy was the most difficult part and the delivery, and now you're assuming, because the whole world, and again it's conditioning, and I speak from my personal experience, that now you should be happy, right? Now
Yeah.
you've done it, but you haven't. It is, I think that is when you hit the rock bottom for most
Mm.
mothers, when the societal expectation, and I don't mean, and these are all family members, they're loving people, but it's
Yes.
like, yay, you've done it, and why aren't you happy?
And
You should be happy now. You
and
can't. Your hormones are completely going haywire. You
yeah.
just can't.
And that's one of the things that I personally experienced, which triggered me to start my holistic healing journey. Is everyone kept telling me that you should be grateful. You should you have twins, like you're not blessed with one, you're blessed with two, and you should be grateful. And why are you crying? Why are you not able to carry them? And I went through a very intense period of depression and confusion, because one, I've never been a mother before, so I don't know what to do. And it's not like once the baby's delivered we automatically know how to be a mother. And then the people keep coming and go like, all that noise, it's a lot.
It's a lot. It's very overwhelming, and I get goosebumps as you say, because this is exactly what happened to me, and I'm pretty sure when your listeners listen to this,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's very common, because you're told to be grateful for what you have. Oh, you have healthy children. What are you crying for?
Yeah.
I'm just crying for myself because I'm overwhelmed and I can't deal with it, and it's the truth, and it's very traumatic. Also, the other thing that happens, the focus now shifts to the baby.
Yeah.
You are the center of attraction for a very long period of time because of pregnancy, and then suddenly, like, your body is no longer your body. You can't recognize how you look, how you
Yeah.
feel. You are still recovering. I'm not even getting into the game of breastfeeding and whether you're able to breastfeed or not, and the pressure that comes with it, and
Yeah.
what all you should do in order to breastfeed. So it's humongous, and I think that is where we need a lot more support. I think holistic healing or counseling or just talking, it should be part of, nowadays we have these prenatal and postnatal packages where you
Yeah.
can actually do a course to know and prepare yourself. This should be embedded,
I
because the
agree.
rest of it is embedded there, like how to do this and which bottles to buy and how to change diapers, and
Mm.
all of that is there. But nobody talks about what's happening inside my head.
Yeah.
And
It's all
you start to
physical.
feel guilty, like,
Yeah.
what's wrong with me that I don't enjoy it, and everybody else is gaga about it. It's very painful at that
It
time.
is. It is. And you hit it spot on about it's painful when people start saying, when people when people's comments make you question how you feel. When you should allow yourself to feel how you feel and not belittle it because of how others perceive that reality, because it's not their reality.
And every mother is also different. Like, as I said, your body reacts in a different way,
Mhm.
and the other thing, it will be like, oh, oh, but look at that person. But we only see that person through a veil. When that
Yeah,
person comes out, that person may be putting up a face in front of us to be strong, but inside it is completely different.
so
And
true.
and I mean it, because these are our families, the people around us. They're all well-meaning people, but for a mother, that is a very lonely spot to be,
It really
and
is.
that is the beginning of a lot of other issues going forward. In that, imagine if depression continued undiagnosed,
Yeah,
that affects the child as well, because child is latched on to mother at that time, and at least till the age of 2, till you're feeding your child. Child doesn't have a different identity. Child's identity comes from mother and what mother is
mm,
feeling. So unless we take care of the mother, we cannot have the new generation to be, happy and mentally stable. And it doesn't. It begins there.
that's
It
true.
begins in the womb. So that's where the focus should be.
You're absolutely right. And as right as it is, it it does put a pressure on
Yes.
mothers to be aware of themselves and how they feel and how they're acting and what emotions they're surfacing in order to not pass it on to their children. Is there any advice you would give mothers who feel they don't have control of their emotions? They're very easily bothered or triggered by their baby's cries, their tantrums, or anything.
Yes, I've walked that path, and you feel like, what's wrong with me? I can't just get it. And especially the crying part, personally, used to, being mother of twins, one
Hmm.
cries, other cries, and you're like overwhelmed. What I would tell the mothers who are there at that moment is that you are the only and the best mother that your child can have. And I say that biologically, if you are not the mother, the child wouldn't be. The child would be somebody else. So just hang in there, because there is nobody else who knows it better. Trust your intuition as a mother and reach out for help. I did. And when I say reach out, it necessarily does not mean just your family. Reach out to friends. Reach out. Don't feel shy to reach out even for professional help. There is nothing wrong in doing that.
Mm.
There is a stigma that, you should be happy now. You should concentrate on losing weight. Forget all of that. All you need to do is you need to feel one day at a time.
Yeah,
Today I changed my baby and my baby is healthy, and that's about it. and I haven't washed my hair, and it's okay. We can do that tomorrow. One day at a time is how I think I have also personally survived. I did take help. I was very fortunate enough to connect to other mothers, especially to mothers of multiples in my case, like two of them, because a lot of factors come in prematurity, and this I'm
Yeah.
saying especially in case of multiples, we don't know how to deal with it. We just don't know. If your baby is in the NICU, you just don't know. You're scared even to hold your baby. Am
Yeah.
I going to hurt my baby? Is it I'm even capable of doing that? So as I said, I think this should be integrated. The moment you're pregnant, you should have a crash course on how the mind works, how your hormones work, and what to expect.
Yeah.
Because this is going to come either ways, like with or without anything, the baby will be born, and that's a part that you cannot escape. But we think that's the finish line, but that's actually the start line of a very different journey. And by that time, we are exhausted. So reach out, talk, and don't keep in mind it's not a stigma. It's no longer.
Uh,
And if we
True.
don't make the changes, nobody's going to make it for us because
So
nobody
true.
else will understand you. So only
Yes,
we as mothers, and that's the reason, for example, I'm here today, and that's the reason you have this platform because it's your personal journey.
it
It's a
is.
very lonely journey unless you have that group to say it is okay to lose it completely because we've
Yeah,
all lost it sometime or the other.
true. That's so true. Thank you. Thank you very, very much for your insights, your the truth, letting us know about holistic healing and what holistic healing is and what it's not, and how it actually complements traditional medicine. Arpita, if our listeners want to know more about you or the Illumination Center and what offers and how you can help them, please do let us know.
Definitely. I work exclusively at Illuminations JLT in Dubai, so you can find me there anytime. And as I said, I do a lot of free consultations with no obligation, for anybody to book because I think it's important to spread the knowledge. We do a lot of work in terms of webinars, in terms of awareness seminars, and I would love if people would reach out because I genuinely believe that this is something we don't talk about so much. It needs to be spoken loud and very loud from a very tall tower, that so that people who are mothers who are at home who may not have access to all this information, it's everyone's information. And why not only moms, I think also dads, because they also don't know half of the time what to do with the mother who is going through
Yeah,
a phase and what to do with the children. This should be integral part of education, and I hope we see that happening very, very soon.
I really hope so too. Arpita, thank you very, very much for being with us. Thank you for your time. And to all our listeners, please do reach out for help. Please go explore, reach out to Arpita, check Illumination, see what they have to offer, what resonates with you. There's no shame in asking for help. You're doing it not just, you're doing it mainly for yourself, but you're also rippling it across to those you love, your children and your household. Thank you again, everyone, for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode, inshallah.